All right, let's talk a little bit about forgiveness in relationships. I see a lot of people who are holding unforgiveness towards other people, either from things that had happened earlier in their life, things that happened to them in their family, things that happened in their marriage or prior love relationships. If I could tell people one thing, it would be to look through your life and find out who you're still angry at and figure out a way to forgive them. Do you want to be right or do you want to be happy, is the old saying? And I would hope that everybody would eventually choose to be happy. And one of the easiest ways to do that is to forgive other people for what they've done. In your mind, you may feel like they don't deserve to be forgiven. And that's a common fallacy. Everybody deserves to be forgiven. And the reason that's so important is all of us, of course, are human. All of us make mistakes. But the important thing to remember is that if we forgive them, we're the ones who actually become free. If we let that person go, if we let them off the hook for their behavior in the past, we're the ones who become free because we're not thinking about it all the time. We're not angry all the time. Those emotions create very powerful hormonal and chemical cascades in our body that affect us. They can literally affect our health. And so by choosing to forgive, it's one of the greatest things you can do for yourself. Oftentimes in the clinic, people will come in and they'll explain some story that happened to them in the past, and I can see their whole body change, their whole structure of their face changes. They start to get red, they start to get angry, they start to actually relive the experience that maybe happened 40 or 50 years before. If that's happening to you, now is the time to change it. And the simplest way to do it, and the most effective and the most permanent way to do it, is to look inside your heart and choose to forgive that person. They may not deserve it in any way as far as you can see, but you're the one that is still carrying that pain. So choose to forgive other people. The way you can do that is to just take into account that we're all humans, we all make mistakes, we're all guilty of some kind of sin or creating some misery in other people's life. Nobody can escape that if you're human. So we just accept the fact that we all do things we're not proud of. We all do things we wish we could change. We all do things that we can regret. And realize that the person who injured you is also a human being, and fallible and flawed, and probably trying to do the very best they could at that time. If you find that that is not enough, and especially if you already have some kind of a spiritual overview on life, if you believe in God, if you believe that there's a spiritual help there for you, then humbly pray for that person. Ask God to give that person everything that you want in your life. If you want health, wealth, and happiness, pray for that other person to have health, wealth, and happiness. Even though it doesn't seem to make sense, there's a spiritual paradigm that you cannot have something that you withhold from another person. Look inside your heart and ask God to soften you to where you can truly, once and for all, forgive that person, free them, free yourself, and start to enjoy what life you have, what time you have left, without the burden of that heavy pressure of unforgiveness in your life.